Did you hear that?
Leave meeting.
Leave the meeting immediately.
I don't consent to being recorded.
Did, did something like pop up saying like I leave? Do you want to leave the meeting? Do you consent to being recorded? Because I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I didn't know what it looks like on the other end, but that's funny.
hmm
That's
There's a
so.
notification that says, by choosing to stay in the meeting, you consent to being recorded. Please don't sue us.
Don't sue us, please. Oh, geez. I like I was like doing research about like screen recording on Zoom, and there's like so many links. It was like how to record a Zoom without anyone's permission. I'm like,
First off,
I feel
that's
like,
illegal.
yeah, I feel like you could get some legal trouble there, maybe a
Yeah.
lawsuit. I don't know. I, I, it's kind of concerning, but also like, did I look at it? Yeah, because I was curious.
Am I recording you without your consent? Yeah.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Worst of Us podcast. I'm obviously 13th President Millard Fillmore, and today I'm with um, Carmine Sabatini. He's a friend and he's Italian, I think. I don't know. Carmine,
I'm
how are
your
you?
friend?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Did you not know
That's so
that?
nice of you to say.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
I'm doing okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm cold in this dorm room.
Yeah, I
How,
have temperature control for my
oh,
apartment, so that's nice, but
that's nice.
it's still cold.
Yeah, it's freezing. I mean, yeah, it's
So
very.
how about that weather?
How about that weather? Catchphrases. This is gonna be the first episode I put out. So, how does that make you feel being the first one,
I
first guest?
mean, pretty good. I feel like we started it off with some good small talk. We'll get to some advice later on in the podcast, and maybe one of the things can be how to small talk people. Tell them that they're small.
You know, yeah, we will get to some advice, and I do have some of the stuff that people suggested, and it makes me not want to do advice again. But we'll see.
This is my advice.
I don't
Stop
think,
giving advice.
yeah, that's some good advice to like, but I don't think there's any that like specifically. I'm like looking at it right now. I don't think any of them specifically say like how to like. Well, there's one that like kind of leads to small talk, but we'll get to that later. You'll see. I think the closest we've ever gotten to like having like a legitimate podcast was the radio show we did. Um,
Yeah.
you want to talk about that for like a hot second?
You're talking about Alfred, the Vintage Hitchcock show, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
We uh we were in a show. I'm just telling the audience in case they didn't.
Yeah.
We were in a show together fall of 2020, and then um with Vintage Hitchcock, it was a radio show. So
hmm
everyone, it wasn't like your regular play. It was like you were just saying the lines, and
And there was nobody in the audience.
there was nobody in the audience. It was at a time when COVID was like very big, and like in fact, no one really knew what a vaccine was. Um, Fun fact, no one knew what a vaccine was until like March of 2021. Did you know that?
There weren't any flu shots or anything before then.
Flu shots? I never heard of it. Not that's not anti-vax. That's just not
That's just
knowledgeable facts.
ignorant vax.
Yeah, I'm making myself clear. I'm not. We're yeah. But so yeah, at that point, we didn't know if we were gonna have like an audience, and no one was in the audience. I just remember distinctly that not a lot of guys auditioned, and then we did.
Yeah.
We were like the only two senior guys, and there were a lot of guy parts,
hmm
and we took the brunt of
We
most of those.
had to do a lot of that.
How was that for
I could,
you? Because I know how it was for me. Like, how
I
was it?
mean, I thought it was fun to be able to do different characters and have different voices that I got to do. And it's always fun to have more lines to do. But at the same time, it's not fun to have that many lines to do because then I had to memorize all of them.
Yeah, that's the thing. I uh I feel the same exact way. It was a bit hard for the both of us.
Yeah, especially trying to keep like the voices straight because that trying to make them sound different and differentiate between the characters, especially when you're like talking to yourself pretty much. You have
Yeah.
different characters like back to back.
hmm
It's
That
a
I
little difficult.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know there was like commercial break jingles in this show.
Yeah.
And I remember you distinctly working on the the jingle part of those commercials.
hmm So there were two different jingle parts, like in between the three acts, and I was writing them because there weren't any like actual set like sheet music or anything for it. So we had to pretty much either like find one on the internet and do that, or just come up with our own. And since we didn't want to do anything to like infringe upon copyright, not that any high school like theater program is going to copyright their version of the jingle, but just
Yeah.
in case we didn't want to steal it from anybody. So I wrote both of them and it was only like 30 seconds. And I tried to conduct a like small chorus of four of the people in the cast so that we could have multiple parts singing it. But by the time I actually got the jingles finished and ready to rehearse, it was 2 weeks until we had the show days. So I just did them myself,
Yeah.
all four parts.
All four. Tenor,
Yes,
bass, alto, um, and then the fourth one.
and the fourth one.
That's the name of it. The fourth one. I remember that. I was upset for you because like one, that seemed like a lot of work. And I know you probably put like a lot of work into that. Did you? Or like you're like,
I I would say that I put a decent amount of work in it,
okay.
but it definitely could have been harder if it was like more of a song that I had to compose for it. And I did have some like um, like inspiration material that she wanted me to go off of.
Mhm.
So that helped with it. But it was not easy. It was my first time actually like composing music. So it was fun, but it was difficult and stressful.
Yeah, no, that was I remember I offered to help and then you went to my house and I was like, I
Mhm.
can help you. And then I didn't do shit.
I tried a few times to show you, like, well, this is what I was thinking for this part. And you're like, let me complain.
Yeah.
I complained too. It
Yeah.
wasn't just you.
I mean, it makes me feel better that it was a mutual thing. Um, I apologize for
It's
that
okay.
but at that point, I feel like it was a catalyst for this podcast being created, if you really think.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah.
The
The,
original podcast
the original
when no one
podcast.
was listening.
But we got McDonald's for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So was it worth it? Debatable. But you know, I'm gonna edit some of this out.
I'm
Don't worry about it. Um, we this is professional stuff. Once we got to like the performances, um, our state, I'm not gonna dox us. Well, okay, Michigan. That's not really doxing.
Michigan.
Yeah.
This is exactly where I am. Let me pull up the map.
What's up the IP address?
This is my address.
But yeah, our state of Michigan went into like another like lockdown because of COVID. And
Mhm.
then I remember I got quarantined. A bunch of other people in our cast got quarantined. And then we recorded the performances, and when they were on they were on our performing arts website. Did you ever listen to that?
I never actually watched the show. My feeling at the time was I was frustrated because my family, like our 80-year-old grandma lives with us, and I was told at the beginning of the show that it was going to be all online. And then, like 2 weeks into rehearsals, the director was like, "Okay, we're going in person now." I was like, "Hold on a second. I thought we
Yeah.
weren't doing that." So I
Hmm.
was already a little frustrated about that. And then when we did the show in person, we were told that there weren't going to be any audience members. And then they said there were going to be audience members, but then we couldn't have audience members because everything got shut down. And we had like one night to film the show so we could have something for the few months that we worked on it.
Hmm.
And I was just frustrated with everything that had gone wrong. And like we were talking about before, having to write jingles and having to learn all of those different lines, I just kind of wanted to be done with it. So I never
Yeah.
watched the show and I just went on with my life.
I if it makes you feel any better, I did not watch the show either. I meant to like watch I don't think it came from a place of like frustration, which is valid on your part.
Mhm.
For me, it didn't like come from a place of frustration. I think it just came from a place of forgetfulness for me. Everything shut down again, and I was so focused on other things at the time. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, uh, like months went by, and I was like, I should, it'd be fun. Watch this. I'll listen actually to this show, and when I did, it didn't play. Um, so I think that might have been like a legal thing. They could only have it there for like a little bit, but
Um, so there's no chance of us watching it now.
yeah, we cannot watch it now. There's no chance.
Dang.
We can only talk about our experience. As I mentioned before, I was quarantined when we recorded the show.
Mhm.
So I wasn't you were you were there, right? Like
Yeah, I was able to do it in person.
how was that?
It was definitely weird having like one of the three only guys in the show who also has a lot of big parts being online. And the other people being online too didn't help because there's like the delay from you talking and then us talking at the theater and you being able to hear it. So it wasn't super smooth, but I still think we did a pretty good job of like making it cohesive so it wasn't like super choppy. I think you still did a good job being quarantined and having to sit in your room doing the show.
Yeah, I was thinking about like the 7 second delay while on Zoom. I think that kind of hindered the performance. Well, I don't
Mhm.
know. We didn't listen to it, but like I'm assuming it did. Uh um do you want to hear a secret though about that recording?
Yes.
Um, when we were recording it, I uh I was already struggling with my own lines too because both of us we had a lot. Um, and then there's this one show out of the three in that vintage Hitchcock where I was like the main character and I did not have like a single time where I wasn't on performing.
Mhm.
So for the entire show, I had the Zoom open and then like pictures of the script on the side.
Big brain.
Big
Big
brain move.
brain.
Big brain moves. It worked. It worked.
I
Like
mean, Yeah, two of the three shows, you were like the main character.
Yeah, and that was unfortunate on my part. Most of our,
Unfortunately.
I mean, it was fun. Don't
Mhm.
get it twisted. I think it was fun. Would I do a radio show again? Doubtful, but I think it was for us. It was like
Mhm.
worth trying at least.
Yeah, it's a good experience to do it at least one time. And I feel like it would have been different if we did it like a classic radio show, like it probably would have been done, like the War of the Worlds one in the 30s. That would have been cool if we got to do something like that and not just like talk to an empty auditorium, or in
Yeah.
your case, talk to a computer screen.
I completely get that. But I think like it came at a time where not much of anything was happening too.
Mhm.
So I feel like we all, well, at least us, the three guys and everyone else, gravitated towards that. I can't speak for anyone else
Mhm.
who didn't audition. I don't know what their fucking excuse was. I I might curse. I might curse a little bit.
It's
I don't
okay.
know how.
Fuck you.
Oh,
I'm joking. I'm not you.
I'm sorry. Oops. I can't wait for like the message I'm gonna get when I like specifically from my parents. They're like, listen to your podcast. We need to talk. Uh,
Are you swearing? Brendan, are you swearing?
Rand, we raised you correctly. We're adults. We're adults here. Um, yeah, you're cool with that.
Yeah.
Sick.
Fuck.
But I don't know what to say to people when they ask why is it named the Worst of Us podcast, because I don't really have like a good backstory for that. I just thought it sounded cool. Like when they ask like what's the podcast about, I've like BS'd most of what I've said. It's like, oh, we're just talking about how everyone's not as perfect as one may convey, and we show a more human side of other people. But it's really just two people talking.
It's really just two people bullshitting their way through
Basically.
30 minutes to an hour, depending on the length you choose.
Depending on how long we talk for, if it's a bad interview, like it's kind of short, but like,
And it's like a 10-minute podcast.
exactly. Just it's like 5 minutes. It's like I I don't know what I'm gonna do if I have like a bad interview. I feel like we need a role play, like just
Okay.
future reference. You be like a terrible, terrible, horrible, no good, very bad guest. I will play.
Fuck you. Fuck.
Not like that. Not like that. Stop. Stop your feelings. And I will play the role of a very charismatic, handsome podcast host who is named Brandon. Welcome to the Worst of Us podcast. I am obviously John Stamos from 1998. I'm here with Carmine. Carmine, how are you? Carmine, how are you?
Go fuck yourself.
I think that dead space between the dead space where we both weren't talking, viewers are gonna love that.
Yeah. People love listening to something where they're not actually listening to something.
Exactly. It's kind of like I don't know what I was gonna say. Sometimes I like to start a sentence thinking I know where I'm gonna go with it, but then I'm like, you don't know where you're gonna go with this. And then I just like stop working with my brain and like,
My brain's like, you don't know shit.
it's
You
like,
don't know what you're talking about.
you don't know what you're
Stop it.
doing, Brandon.
Stop speaking.
Stop speaking. What are you doing? I need to drink a bang.
I need a bang.
This is a
Not sponsored by Bang.
fun fact. On an episode I recorded earlier today, I was drinking Bane, and one of the bits we were doing is that like I was trying to get a sponsor from Bang Energy.
Mhm.
And that's the second episode, and this is the first one. So it's kind of weird. It's a little flip-flopped. But
I'm over here, but actually, I'm over here.
I'm just giving the people something to look forward to if you really think about
Yeah.
it. Because it's some funny bits.
We get in some good licks on Bang energy drink.
Exactly. I like how I'm referencing a different podcast episode on the first podcast episode. It's like if the first episode of iCarly referenced an episode from like season 3, episode 12, and like, hey, remember when we like got kidnapped by that crazy fan? It's like, what are you talking about? We are just starting this web series.
Remember that time we all came into the apartment and Spencer had an ostrich next to him, but he was holding a smoothie. And we asked him what he had, and he said, a smoothie. That was such a good time.
Carly, what are you talking about? We're just moving in.
I can see into the future. My third eye is open.
I would not be surprised if Carly was actually a clairvoyant. I think that's what it's called.
That's where the I comes in iCarly.
Yeah, the I stands for clairvoyant.
I clairvoyant.
I feel like, have you seen like the new iCarly or no?
I saw some of the first episode, and it
Is it not
it
good?
it doesn't hold up to the original series, and it can't hold up to the original series because it's not the original series.
Yeah. I kind of figured that'd be the case because like, don't they like curse now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's on Paramount Plus and it's no longer a kids show, and they're adults.
Yeah. That's gotta be jarring, like seeing someone who's been like PG for like a good amount of time start cursing. I can't think of any other scenario where that might be
Go
the
fuck
case.
yourself. Your fucking son.
Yeah. I still can't think of a single scenario.
You remember when Barney was on Family Guy?
Wait.
No, it's a joke. I just
I thought you
there
were
probably is like a bit where Barney is on there and he's cursing, but
there's so many bits on Family Guy. I don't know if you know this, but like
Brandon Sams, there's so many bits on Family Guy. You should write that on your whiteboard for the next one.
Honestly, yeah. That's another visual gag that audio listeners are gonna hate because they're not. I'm just writing stuff on this board, and we can't say what it is. Because, no.
I said it earlier, but you can just like bleep it out like I'm saying some really long, like horrible thing.
But like when you said it earlier, you're not saying like, oh, that's around the board. Or actually, you might have said that. I just think
I don't know. I don't remember.
And I'll figure out later. But if you didn't say that, no one's gonna know. They're just gonna have to play a weird guessing game where like, I wonder what was on Brandon's dorm room marker board.
You can just make a Twitter poll. Episode 3 of the Worst of Us podcast. What was on Brandon's whiteboard?
Just to really test if anyone actually like watched the video.
Yeah.
That could be good. Just to like weed out like the true fans and then the audio listeners.
The guest that you had on the podcast guesses it wrong. They don't even get what's on there, even though they saw what was on the whiteboard and they were looking at it for a solid hour.
Mm-hmm. That'd be unfortunate.
You're not coming on my podcast anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, Carmine.
You're not invited to my birthday party.
This is actually the first and also very last episode of the podcast.
You remember that part earlier where I said we would pretend to be a really bad interview? Yeah, it's you. It's just you didn't need to pretend.
We weren't really like playing a role there. This is just how it is, actually.
It's called method acting.
Exactly.
And you suck.
I hate to tell you this way, but yeah.
But you're really good at method acting. So go fuck yourself. That's just my running joke for any time I'm on the podcast. I just tell you to go fuck yourself.
You know, I feel like that'd be a good first running gag, I think. Yeah, humble.
Episode 1 title, go fuck yourself.
I don't think I have the balls to call it that, but I'll probably just say something like kind of egotistical, like episode 1, we're better than you.
It's just a bunch of hidden messages in the episode title. Just like, your parents got divorced because of you. It was your fault. But then that's never actually brought up in the podcast at all. It just has nothing to do with it.
Oh no. It's just like episode 1, I know what you did.
I know what you did last summer, not the movie.
Not the movie. Good movie. But I know what you did. Anyways, can you imagine if we just did like, I know what you did. Yeah, that's right, Claire. I know you did. Someone named Claire is just freaking out.
Manny from Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
I know what you did, Connor. You can't hide from us, Connor.
You can't hide from these piercing eyes of the best podcast host.
Don't say it or else people are going to know what the marker board says.
Little hints throughout the episode. The whiteboard said.
Oh, they're very subtle hints. You know, we here at the Worst of Us podcast proud ourselves of subliminal advertising, which is why I only drink Bang Energy.
Bang Energy. Go fuck yourself.
That's actually the slogan. Did you not know that?
Did it? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fitting. Have you ever had Bang Energy?
I haven't. I usually.
Oh, you should.
Oh, you don't drink Bang Energy?
Well,
go fuck yourself.
Get out. Get out of my podcast now. Only people who drink Bang Energy are allowed as guests.
I just leave.
Mm-hmm.
I don't consent to being recorded anymore. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, it's not actually a bit. Just like, get out.
This is real.
This is real.
Leave.
I'm being serious. You can
Get
tell.
Out.
I don't know much about this, but I know for a fact that you used to do football.
Yeah, I didn't play it. I did it.
You
I used
didn't
to
play
do football.
Do football. What position? We're gonna lose a lot of viewers who aren't like
The Worst of Us, a sports podcast.
actually a sports podcast. What position did you play in football?
I mainly did offensive line. So like the guys that when the team has the ball, they're the guys that are in the front that are protecting the quarterback.
Second question. Why?
Because I'm a big boy. Let me 1 second. I'm a big boy.
For
They
you
wanted
audio
me there
listeners,
because I'm big.
for you audio listeners, my guest Carmine stood up to prove that he is a big boy.
Broad shoulders too. They like that for
Oh, I'm sure.
linemen
Yeah,
because it's harder to push you around.
yeah. I'm still waiting on the callback for the offensive line position for high school. I'm still waiting. I'm hopeful, but I don't think they're gonna get back to me.
No.
You don't think so?
This is one of those parts where we just don't say anything because that's what people want to listen.
You know, sometimes silence is just nice.
Yeah, there's a whole song called "The Sound of Silence,"
Mm-hmm.
originally written by Simon and Garfunkel, but better cover is performed by Disturbed.
Oh, that's a hot take right there. You're
The Worst of Us podcast, hot takes.
hot takes. This is a hot takes only podcast. If you're
Me pulling a nice souffle out of the oven. Oh, that's hot.
hot take. That was a dumb joke on my part. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. And I'm sure you can relate because you're a very funny dude. When I say a bad joke, I feel as though people like suspect that I don't realize it's a bad joke. But I know. That's the thing.
Yeah. I know when you say bad jokes that you're intentionally doing it. And that to me is why it's funny.
Exactly. Sometimes I say a bad joke knowing damn well I know it's a bad joke.
As an empath, I can sense that you know you're telling a bad joke.
We're also gonna lose some viewers who don't go on TikTok or aren't up to date with memes. You know, whatever we talk about, we're guaranteed to lose viewers.
Yeah, by the end of this podcast, there will be 0 people listening.
It'll be just one, and it will be me.
It'll be my mom.
Yeah. I don't even think my mom's gonna be a fan of this podcast because of how much we're cursing on this. We're adults.
Just the first time you curse, she's like, oh, I can't believe this. I can't believe you've done this.
I mean, yeah. But I feel like if I tried to like be PG and G for like the rest for like a lot longer, I might lose my mind. That's not for me because like it is for some people, but like I don't think for content wise, I don't think I need to grow with my content. And if I grow a mouth like a sailor, so be it.
I need to grow with my content. And part of that growth is cursing. Exactly. I'm going to curse all the time. Go fuck yourself.
You get it. Finally.
It's kind of like asking like this really hardcore action movie star, say Arnold Schwarzenegger, to do a family movie, say Kindergarten Cop, and not curse.
See, it doesn't work. It's like
Arnold Schwarzenegger teaching us a room full of kindergartners and not saying curse words. It doesn't work.
It's like if you ask Samuel L. Jackson to be in a Minions movie.
The 1 million that just keeps saying motherfucker.
No, that hasn't happened yet. But how much money would you pay to see Samuel L. Jackson in a Minions movie? Because I'd pay so much money.
All of the money I have in my bank account. Probably not enough to buy even a minute of his time.
Yeah, that's the thing. A guest like that, you need to pay him to be on.
Yeah,
podcast.
You should get him on your podcast.
Yeah, I should. Too bad I don't have money. Maybe.
You want to come on as an unpaid guest?
Why do you think I have this podcast?
Why do you think you're here?
Exactly. You see, this is a secret. I'm not going to tell anyone, but I like money.
I'm secretly Mr. Krabs. For you audio listeners, Brandon just unzipped his face like that episode of SpongeBob, and he's actually Mr. Krabs.
Well,
Hot take.
I take it. It only goes down to here. I was gonna like, I was trying to like zip it up so we can get the sound effect so it's like realistic. But then I realized, oh, the zipper doesn't even go all the way. It goes like above my nipples.
Nipple length.
And I'll let you figure out where it was.
The next poll of the Worst of Us podcast, where are Brandon's nipples?
We need an accurate guess. That's a weird poll to have.
I feel like that violates some sort of community guideline.
Yeah, you might be onto something there.
Hey, Jeff Bezos, where are my nipples? What did you do with them?
Oh no, Jeff Bezos stole my nipples.
That should be the title of the episode. Jeff Bezos stole my nipples.
Oh my god.
Clickbait.
I might not do that only out of fear that Jeff Bezos would see that and think, he's not getting his packages
Excuse
delivered on
you,
time
I
anymore.
didn't steal your nipples.
Like, last time I checked, I don't have your nipples yet. So, could you like change the title, please?
You can clearly see on this list of people's nipples who I have stolen that your name is not on here.
Exactly. You can check for yourself, Mr. Sams, that I do not have your name in the nipple registry that I have.
According to my nipple register.
I feel like people are going to be more uncomfortable. Well, they're not going to be as uncomfortable with us cursing, but they'll be more uncomfortable with the fact that we're saying nipples so much. That's going to be what's uncomfortable. Yeah. That's what's going to be
this is where we lose more viewers.
That's going to be the subject of the text I get from my parents. Like, hey, love the podcast. Could you stop cursing and stop saying nipple? It's weird.
Love the podcast. Not so fond of the nipple part.
Yeah, I can't wait for that text. That's going to be great.
And that's your next Twitter poll. Did you like when Brandon and Carmine talked about nipples?
Out of context, that sounds horrible.
We just do a TEDx talk where it's just us sitting in a room talking about nipples.
Not in like a weird way, just like this. We're just talking about nipples. Yeah. Nothing weird about it. We're adults.
I'm an adult. I can talk about nipples whenever I want to.
Exactly. I want to talk about a story, and then we could give out some very unqualified advice. How's that sound? Perfect. So for our graduation ceremony, we had a car parade where we had like all the seniors like cars like
like the movie Cars. We became cars.
Every single person that graduated from our high school is actually a transformer. We're actually transformers too. We just don't like changing into our car formations. No, that's
no, that's not true. That's absurd.
That's a fact of fiction there.
Science fiction.
Whoa. You and I rode in my car. I drove. And I think of the story fondly because we were thinking that there was gonna be people on like both sides of the car. So we had we stuck your like graduation. You see where this is going, right?
Yeah.
We stuck your graduation sign on the passenger side of the car and my sign on the other car. And when we drove it, the majority of the people were on the passenger side of the car. So they only really saw you.
Even though it was your car and you
Exactly.
were driving.
I was driving it. Only like 15 people saw my graduation sign. How was the car parade for you? Because like it was a very interesting time.
I thought it was fun
Yeah.
because I got to do it with you and we just had a good time,
Mhm.
not having to worry about anything.
Yeah.
But probably the funniest part was halfway through the parade when I realized that the car in front of us had my ex-girlfriend in it and she doesn't like me very much.
That's right.
So all of these people, since my sign is on the passenger side, and that's the one they see, are
Mm.
yelling out, Carmine, hey Carmine, while I'm right behind her. And as we were driving out of the front parking lot of the high school, her mom was standing on the corner on the passenger side. So other than that, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, that makes me feel a lot better about not having as many people on my side, but because like I didn't see my ex's parents at all on my side.
Mhm.
Granted, they don't have a child in our grade.
Granted, they don't have a child.
That's not true, Carmine. But like I think I'm on good terms with my exes, but for you, that's gotta suck.
But for you,
But for you, my friend, that's terrible. You want to give advice?
sure. You
Okay,
said you have some like written down,
that's right.
or I guess sent in.
Yeah, for the viewers, I had a anonymous Google form where you can send in like advice, all pieces of advice, and I did that just so I didn't. They can send in whatever, like the anonymity of it all.
Mhm.
I don't know if
Just
I'll
so I
ever do.
could get people's words without their consent.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Zoom where like you got the notification like um if you stay on this call, you consent to being recorded. It's like if
You
you if you
consent.
if you submit something, you consent the possibility of us giving you advice and reading it on a podcast. Um, but
That being said,
that being said, here's the thing. I don't know if I'll ever do this again, and you'll see why. Um, and full disclaimer, neither Carmine or I are qualified to give any sort of advice legally.
no,
So if you follow this advice, we cannot be accountable for what could result.
please don't sue me.
Exactly. Now I
If
feel like
my advice results in negative feedback for you, I don't have enough money
sucks to
or
suck.
possessions or assets to be of any suing value.
Exactly.
So please don't.
I feel like the little spiel I gave might just like it's only there just to save our asses, just in case. I don't know what kind of advice we would give in order for that to
Mhm.
be a scenario, but like you never know. You never know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people are crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, um, the first piece of advice submitted simply states men, and that's it. Just men.
So they're asking for our advice, right?
I'm assuming it's like advice on like how to like talk to men.
How
I'm
to deal with men.
how to deal with men. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know any other assumptions I could possibly make. Maybe it's like how to make friends with men. Um, I don't know
How to tolerate men.
how to. All right, here's the advice on how to tolerate men. Carmine, what are you thinking for like how to tolerate men?
How to tolerate men.
Mhm.
Well, I would say first off, you just have to take like any logic about anything and just like throw it out the window.
High school is our next piece of advice. I like how some of these don't really like they're not questions, they're just things.
Yeah,
I've only picked two that are literally just things.
just nouns
Yeah, that's the thing.
from
Um,
my English majors out there.
yeah. Um, what I'm I'm assuming it's like how to go through high school, how to deal with high school. Because I can't see a possibility of it being anything else. It's like high school. How do I successfully run a high school?
How do I become principal of a high school and then become superintendent of the school district?
Exactly. Watch the superintendent of our former high school listen to this podcast.
I feel like he probably would have stopped listening way before this point. If it wasn't the cursing that got him, it was the
It was
nipples.
definitely the nipple thing. Yeah, you're probably right.
That should be the title of the pod, or not. Rename your podcast to the nipple thing. A podcast about nipples.
I don't know if I should do that, Carmine.
And the picture, instead of the one you came up with before,
Oh no,
is
no, no.
just a nipple.
I no,
Oh,
no, I don't want
that's
that.
illegal.
I don't know if that's the best idea you've ever had, Carmine, because it's certainly not a good idea. Anyways, high school. Um, um, I'm assuming it's about like how to survive high school. And I don't feel terribly qualified to be giving such advice because I barely functioned through high school.
I'm barely here.
I feel like if people thought either you or um, I'm gonna speak for the both of us. If people thought we were like, wow, Carmine and Brandon really have had their shit together in high school, we didn't. We were
No,
lying. We were lying most of the time. We're liars.
I'm a compulsive liar.
Yeah. So I guess lie
Lie a lot.
through a lot of things in high school. When you say you have your homework done, say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I had it done. It's at home." Sometimes it works, you know?
If you cry enough,
Yeah. If
it'll work, and they'll just send you down to the guidance office or the counselor's office.
exactly. It worked for me, it could work for you.
I
um,
got sent home multiple times.
yeah. Our next piece of advice.
High school, cry.
Anyways, um, uh, is finding my career path. That's more of like a actual like wanting advice than like just saying a. You didn't just say career path.
Career
Oh, I
path.
appreciate whoever wrote that. Um, thank you for making our lives easier.
Thank you for helping us towards our career path.
Yeah, Carmine, do you have any advice for this viewer wanting to figure out what their career path is?
I'd say for me, what helped was just like trying to find things that interested me and things that I would want to do for like the majority of the time that I'm alive.
Yeah,
Because if you don't find anything that interests you or that you're going to enjoy doing, then you're going to be crying a lot and not just in high school. And when you cry after high school, it doesn't get you as much benefit.
yeah. So only cry in high school is what we're trying to say.
Yes,
Um,
that's how you find a career path.
exactly. I could have sworn I just got a text. No, it was a Twitter notification. Lame.
Someone responded to my Twitter poll.
Finally, I didn't even put it out
Oh,
yet.
my nipples.
The Twitter poll about nipples. I didn't even put it out yet, but I likely never will. But someone responded to it. That's crazy.
How did they do this?
That's,
But yeah, I would say like have a few options for what you're interested in. Like for the majority of when I was in high school, I was like, yeah, I want to do something with astronomy or like astrophysics. And then I got to my senior year and I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. Physics is hard. So I went to the next best thing.
Mhm. And what was that next best thing for you?
Environmental science. Not easy,
Yeah,
but definitely not as hard as physics.
that's true. Yeah. I feel like for me it's a weird case. That's why I had you go first because like that's mean of me to say.
It's okay.
But like you get it.
Mhm.
Cuz like the only reason I know my career path is just because like I just been doing stuff and like I got it's kind of similar advice to what you just gave. Like if you find something you're passionate about, just keep working on it. Um
Mhm.
yeah. Um don't do film because there's not a lot of jobs and I don't want competition. Um I don't want the competition. Don't major in film production. Um it's fun. I just don't want any competition.
Mhm. Please
Okay.
stop making films. I'm the only one that can make films. Me,
Exactly.
Brandon, Sam's best podcast host,
The only one who can make films is I, Brandon the comedian, the host of a podcast.
Instagram comedian.
Instagram. How to talk to women. I don't know. Anyways, how
I can tell you how I got my current girlfriend.
oh, that could be some good advice.
Um, so I'm not gonna say her name.
Yeah, don't.
However, her nickname in our friend group was Melon. So we were in botany together and we had to choose a piece of produce that we wanted to grow. And I was looking at different kinds of produce that there are. And I realized that watermelons and cucumbers are technically in the same genetic family. So I texted her on Instagram and said, did you know that watermelons and cucumbers are in the same genetic family? So instead of calling you melon, I can call you pickle.
And the rest was history.
And it worked.
So what he's trying to say, um, uh, call women pickles, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, find a person, preferably a woman if you're trying to talk to women,
Yeah.
and make sure like they have either their name is like a fruit or a piece of produce, or like
Mhm.
their nickname is a fruit or a piece of produce. Find some other random plant that is in the same family and be like, hey, I'm going to call you butternut squash now.
Honestly, you could just do that to any name. Like
Yeah.
say like someone's name is just Samantha for an example.
Say someone's name is,
You could call them a apricot or
yeah.
asparagus. Why did those
Or
two butternut squash?
you could call them Clamantha, like the hit Disney XD TV show Fish Hooks.
What a good show. What a good show. So I guess watch fish hooks, I guess. I don't know.
How to talk to women? Make them watch
fish
watch fish hooks.
How to make the perfect sandwich. I don't know if
You
they're
know what really grinds my gears?
You know what? Here's the thing. And if I sound like a bit of a bitch, too bad.
I sound like a bit of a bitch. Go fuck yourself. This is my podcast.
Exactly. I don't know if they're trying to be funny or not. If they're serious, we'll give you some advice. But if they're trying to be funny, you're not doing a great job.
DM me on Instagram at Brandon the Comedian if you're serious about this request.
Yeah. Because like how to make the perfect sandwich, that's like, well, first of all, what is the perfect sandwich? That's the real question. That's the real.
It's pretty objective. I feel like it depends on the person who the perfect sandwich, like what the perfect sandwich is going to be based off of the person that's judging what the perfect sandwich is. You may say that the perfect sandwich is a tuna melt from Subway. And to that, I would say, what the fuck?
I would never.
I may say that the perfect sandwich is not the tuna melt from Subway.
Yeah. That's a good decision.
This entire podcast is just a...
Most of it is just
a slander campaign against Subway and the tuna melt.
I was gonna say we lost so many viewers because my target demographic is tuna melt sandwich lovers.
Bitches who love the tuna melt from Subway.
That's my target demographic in relationships and content.
You know what would suck if the person who asked that question actually really likes the tuna melt? Every time I go there, I order it.
We're just really just shitting on this person for one, not being funny, and two,
imagine
not having
not
good sandwich preferences, and two, not having good sandwich preferences. They're 0 for 2.
One more and you're out of my podcast. I'm blocking you from listening.
Strike 3, you're out.
So let's talk about what the perfect sandwich would be. In my opinion, the perfect sandwich would be a piece of bread, like laid flat, just like some nice sliced bread. Maybe put some mayonnaise. Like maybe if you're feeling fancy, you can put like mayonnaise and barbecue sauce or something on there. That'd be pretty good. Warm yourself up some pulled pork, put that on there. Some nice pulled pork on the piece of bread there with the mayonnaise and the barbecue sauce. Get some relish. Are you writing this down? Put it on the whiteboard. This is what's on the whiteboard.
Mayo, BBQ sauce.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, repeat.
All right, and then you have some nice pulled pork on top of that, on top of the piece of bread with the mayonnaise and barbecue sauce.
On bread. Got it.
And then you put some relish on the pulled pork to add some more cool to the sandwich. What does that say?
No, nothing.
What does that say? Does that say this is some bullshit? In my famous catchphrase, go fuck yourself.
We got one more piece of advice, and it's a doozy. It's not one word. It's not like just a sentence. All right. Sorry for anyone who's like gets weary with cracking bones, but also too bad. Anyways,
sorry for anybody who doesn't like cracking bones. Let me just crack all bones in my body. Anyways.
All right. Hey, I'm really worried about making friends when I go to college very soon. I was always an outcast and never really had friends, but more lovers than friends. Sometimes that's why I hate being pretty. I swear I'm not cocky in parentheses. because I just want friends. I have a boyfriend, and by God, I love him so much. And I'm worried guys or girls will try to not want to be my friends and instead be fuck buddies, to put terms lightly.
To put terms lightly, they'll want to fuck me.
Yeah, I don't know how lightly that was put. Anyways, there's more, Carmine. There's more. Hold it together. There's more. We've been going out for almost 2 years, and I don't want to mess it up. And I want to get married to him soon. He saved me from messing up my life even more with my family, probation, and some pretty serious things. I wouldn't be the same person without him. So I guess the question is, how do I make friends without going to the territory of them being interested in me? Also, could you give a shout out to Merritt? I'm not going to say his last name. My boyfriend, saying his girlfriend is very proud of him and loves him very much and is thankful for him being in my life. So shout out Merritt, my boy.
Merritt.
Nice. I love the hotel, Marriott.
Shout out to my boy Marriott.
Marriott. You got some nice
ass
hotels.
Room, baby.
Yeah.
You're on my podcast.
Exactly.
If you don't want me to talk shit, you're gonna get me a free room at the Marriott Hotel.
Yeah. Thing is, I'm not gonna read the last name because like I don't want to like dox him and I don't feel comfortable because I don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
And I would be lying if I said I didn't like try to figure out who said that. I did not figure out, but clearly this someone's desperate need of advice, and they came to like the worst people. They came to like the worst possible people to be giving such advice. Let me reiterate at the beginning of this segment, we're not qualified in any sort of way to be giving such advice.
If our advice ends up in you going to jail,
that
or anything of a legal or otherwise negative manner, you didn't hear it from us.
Yeah. Do not sue. We are not legally responsible for anything that would happen to you for following our advice.
We are not qualified professionals.
Yeah. That's the segment.
That being said.
First of all, I think my first piece of advice is get to the point.
So taking advice from every time I try to write a specific page length paper on Microsoft Word, be concise.
I feel like there was a lot of stuff that I didn't need to know about.
Important to the advice giving, though.
I guess. But I feel like
I'm not going to mention any of it in my advice giving, but
yeah. I'm pretty sure they could have easily said. So I guess the question is, how do I make friends without it going to the territory of them being interested in me?
How do I keep people in the friend zone and only the friend zone?
That's
not wanting to get out of the friend zone.
That's pretty much the advice that they want. You could really just cut out everything else. I'm sorry. It sounds like you've been through a lot, and I'm glad you're doing better, hopefully.
It sounds like you're doing better.
It sounds like you're doing better. I don't mean to be mean. I just want to I'm helping your literacy.
I don't mean to be mean, but shut the fuck up. That's a joke. I'm not telling you to shut the fuck up.
We really don't be. This is all in love. You seem to be in a good place. That's great. Sometimes keep things to yourself, though. Anyway.
This is how to keep yourself in a good place into college.
Yeah. Honestly, that's not bad advice. Oversharing, is not a good thing. And it
Yeah,
also
I feel
relates
like,
to, oh, I'm sorry, you go.
no, it's okay. I was
No.
just gonna say, a lot of people, I feel like, when you get that really emotional and deep emotional connection with them, they can start to feel like maybe this is more of a romantic interest than just a platonic, like, friendship interest. And not saying that you should just like keep everything to yourself and keep everything bottled up and not share your emotions, but at the same time, like
Don't share everything.
don't share everything, don't lead them to think that the deep emotional connection is hinting towards a romantic relationship. Um, how you go about doing that really depends on the person, both the person that you are and the person that you're trying to be friends with. But I mean, I'll just be honest with you. It will be hard to find people that want to just be friends, especially guys in college. I feel like if you are an attractive woman, they will probably just want a romantic or sexual relationship with you. And it is going to be hard, but you can find people that aren't going to want that and are just going to want to be friends. So also be aware of the kind of person that you're trying to be friends with and be aware of any red flags that show up.
Yeah. I think some other advice I could give them is just like if you think someone, because I've had this happen before, like, and I'm sure you probably have too, where like
Mhm.
you're like think you think it's just like a friendship, but they like you and you don't feel the
Mhm.
same. That's a common thing.
Yeah.
People have had it happen. Like everyone's had it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
Um, does that go away in college? No, and it likely never will. Um,
Mhm.
it's just one of the facts of life, I guess. But I like Armine kind of hit the nail on the head. I think it's just like if you don't want them to be like in a relationship, like the take two. If you if you if you don't want the friendship, take three. Um, I'm on a roll here. If you don't want this relation to turn into a relationship, I think the best thing to possibly do if they start to show like, oh, I want to have sex, or
I
I want,
want to fuck.
yeah, if it goes to that territory, I think honestly, this is gonna sound easier said than done, but the best thing you could possibly do is just distance yourself from them for like a little bit,
Mhm.
like so they can like lose interest a little bit. It works. It works. Not saying it's easy sometimes, but because like you don't want to like no, you don't want them to like hate you or anything. But it does work.
And you
If
should also like make your intentions clear, like if they send an unwanted nude or like
yeah.
send some not so great texts or make like inappropriate comments.
Mhm.
Just state your intentions and be like, hey, I have a boyfriend. I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not going to be unfaithful. I'm not going to cheat on them. So I would really appreciate it for our friendship if you would just not do that.
Yeah. And
Also easier said than done.
yeah. And also our both Carmen and aren't trying to like imply that every single like person that you would be interested in, like not everyone's just wanting to fuck. Uh, some people like some guys genuinely just want like a friendship, and that's
Mhm.
cool. And we're just saying a vast majority do kind of want more, especially in college, because like,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone's so horny. Uh, I don't know if that helps, but it kind of does. I
It's good to be aware that the majority of guys are most likely going to be like that, but that also doesn't mean that everyone is going to be like that. It
yeah,
also doesn't mean that guys who are like that are always going to be like that.
you see, it's all how you look at them as a person. Because like, if they're always like that, one, weird, and two, sometimes some people are gonna be like that. They're gonna want like stuff, but they if they do it in a creepy manner, no,
Mhm.
no. Um, but like some people genuinely just want like a friendship first, and that's great. Stick with
Mhm.
them. Stick with them. And yeah, hope that helps, I guess.
We did it.
Yeah. At the end of the episode, I want the guests to like have some sort of like, have you ever seen Hot Ones?
I don't think I have.
Really? That's unfortunate because I was totally going to use that show as an analogy, but it'll still work. At the end, after they've eaten so many hot wings, the host is like, all right, go to the camera and tell the people what you want to say. It's usually some like promo, but at the end of the episode, I'm thinking each guest say like what kind of like advice, weird quote, whatever they want to say as like a last quote, if you will.
Okay.
So Carmine, what is your final quote?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious. It's got to be my catchphrase: "Go fuck yourself." I love you,
Love
but
you
go
too,
fuck
pal.
yourself.
I it's gonna be so much fun cutting out a few things for legal purposes,
For legal reasons.
not for
I'm
timing.
joking when I say go fuck yourself.
If this podcast is under an hour and like 20 minutes, just know there's some things I cut. And
There's a lot that we couldn't use. A lot of uncensored nipple mayhem.
and so if you thought to yourself, wow, this is a very weird podcast. Just think of the stuff that I had to cut.
This is a long ass podcast.
Yeah.
At least 30 minutes of it is nipples.
Well, it was nice having you. Congrats on being the first podcast guest.
Thank you for having me. It was a really fun time. It was a good experience.
Perfect. We got the testimonial. That's great. Uh I'm gonna use
For my
that
advertising majors out there.
for anytime I ask someone, I like, yeah, I'll think about it. But what did Carmine think of being a guest? It's like, oh, he enjoyed it. All right, I'll be on. If Carmine enjoyed it,
Okay.
I'll likely enjoy it.
He's got a good testimony.
Yeah. Bye.